that leads me nicely on to an issue I found myself with when a well-known company, who shall remain nameless, approached me and said that my logo, so it wasn't an issue with my name, but my logo was basically passing off as their logo because of the similar colour, pattern basically, and font and everything. Obviously panic stations. And I phoned you, oh my god, Ryan, what are we going to do? We're going to have to change my whole company name and everything. And this company, I would just like to point out, is totally unrelated to accounts or tax or anything, even similar to anything that I do. Totally different industry. So we went back and said, being a bit cheeky, you're in a totally different industry. I think they had the copyright, was it? Or was it the trademark they had the trademark.
So what they had a registered trademark, but their issue was with just how close a match the visual similarity was.
That was it. Yeah.
A little bit concerned that their customer base and your customer base would be confused as to the source. I think they were thinking that some of their customers would be thinking that they've now branched out into the world of accounting. So that was their concern, and obviously we looked at it, didn't we? And we actually came up with a very good compromise,
which was, because originally my logo, which, I mean, to be fair, my logo I have different colour variants of my logo anyway. So I originally had white on a purple background, which is what they had an issue with. I also had purple on a white background. I've got white on a black background, and the other way around. I've got it in various different formats. I've got a grey hoodie on here, so I've got purple and grey. So we agreed, look, I'm a very, very small business in comparison. We're in totally non-competing, I think you said non-competing industries. Let's not be ridiculous. Okay. I won't use the white writing on a purple background anymore. I'll switch it around and I'll use purple on a white background, which they were fine with. And it was a good outcome. I was very happy with the outcome. I just didn't want to have to change my branding. And, I guess it was very frustrating for me because, and again, I think this is where people don't always understand. I think, well, I've got a trademark, so they can't do anything. But it's not that black and white. It isn't. There's loads of different elements of it. Like, yes, I've got a trademark, but they also have a trademark for the logo. So, it's, but the colours were different, and, I thought the colours were different, and the design of the logo was different. So we ended up with a good compromise on that. But it was, and when you sort of did my letter reply, it was like, actually, we've also got the trademark in our industry. And, we were quite firm but fair, I thought, with our reply.
And I think that's important. And I think, the reason why we were able to get the result that we wanted was because we listened to all of their concerns, and we addressed them, and we compromised where it was necessary, and we were firm in areas where we had some good strengths. I think where some people go wrong with their negotiation, particularly if they receive a cease and desist in the post, when they read it, they think, oh my God, that's horrendous, and it goes into fight or flight mode. And it's they go into flight mode, bury their head in the sand. That's where it's not a good place to be. Either take advice or have a chat with the person that sent it over to you. I would always recommend taking advice, of course, but it's always worth talking it out, because usually what they're claiming for in the letter, certainly in my experience over the years, isn't what the end result is. We've usually, sometimes it's a chest beating exercise. It's all scary. But then when you actually dig into it and have a chat, you can often make compromises, and the other side will make some concessions for you as well, depending on how that conversation goes. So I think there's a saying, isn't there? You can catch more wasps with honey than you can vinegar.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I think I got the letter and just freaked out. Well, I did, and thought it was the worst thing in the world. And you were like, "It's actually quite a nice letter. I've seen, cease and desist. You got 7 days, take everything down, and that's it." And it wasn't. It was actually, given their dues, I thought it was quite a sort of reasonable letter in hindsight, because I didn't have to change my brand. In hindsight, I thought it was a reasonable letter. So that was a great result, and I was very, very happy. But it just shows that, you know, you're not always 100% protected, and you do need to think about how you respond. And like you said, you know, get some advice. Like, don't just say nothing, and also don't go back going mental. Like, just sort of, you know, take some advice and go from there, which is exactly what I did with the next scenario that happened. I feel like everything just happens to me. Is this just me, Ryan? Do other people have all these things? Do other companies go through these things? It's just smooth.
But it's not. It's quite common. More common than you think.
Okay, good.
So, yeah.
I'm just pleased I must have chose a good brand, because, you know, otherwise I wouldn't have these problems. But I got sent a message from someone who thought they'd seen me post in a Facebook group as Smooth Accountancy. I have to get this right. So I'm Smooth Accounting, yeah. So there was this Smooth Accountancy, and she said, "Oh, is this you?" And I said, no, that's not me. Who the hell is that? So after some digging, found out that this company was trading as Smooth Accountancy and had very recently changed to Smooth Accountancy, like a few months prior. So again, got on the phone to Ryan. He was probably like, "What is it now?" I was like, drama number 2. And you put me in touch with Dion in your team, who was amazing. And very long story short, because I'm sure no one wants every single element of what happened, but we went a little bit around the houses. This particular chap, I phoned him originally just to say, you know, I've got the trademark, and he said, "So have I." So that phone call was very short, and I just said, "Look, you know, you'll hear off my solicitor." It turned out he was trading Smooth Feathers for a while. When I say trading as, it wasn't public. There wasn't like, you know, he had a website page, but nobody could see it, because we certainly didn't find anything about anyone trading as Smooth. It wasn't on Google or any, you know, he doesn't come up on Google or anything like that. But he did have Smooth Feathers as a limited company from like 2014. When speaking to Dion, he said, you know, you've got to have goodwill. You can't just say that it's your name. You know, you have goodwill in your brand. And he ended up dealing with the chap, and we ended up settling further down the line on he can go back to Smooth Feathers, but he absolutely cannot be Smooth Accountancy. That was almost identical.